Hello and welcome to Piano and Keyboard Artist, where we discuss the artists related to pianos, keyboards and synthesizers. And continuing with my Depeche Mode album review series, this is Violator Part 14. Welcome to the most in-depth Depeche Mode album review series ever conducted by an independent YouTuber. This is part 14, so if you've not seen parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, do click on the link in the description below. Part 14, as I say, we have not left any stone unturned on this series, and at the end of this episode, I'm not only going to conclude with this Violator series, I'm also going to give the album review and continue with the 5 questions as we always do them. If you're not up to date, then you can just click on the link in the description below and you can binge watch this entire series. Please bear in mind, if you're watching this on YouTube, then understand that this is a condensed version. For the full uncut version, you can find that exclusively on my Patreon channel. You can join the Vaughn George Patreon community for as little as $2 a month and have access to the premium content, as well as be a part of special things like live streams, Zoom chats, and a whole lot more. Right, let's jump into Part 14. Clean. This epic masterpiece of an album, fanboy alert, concludes with the final track, track 9, which is Clean. Clean is the soundtrack to Dave Gaughan's life, I feel. Clean, the cleanest I've been, an end to the tears and the in-between years and the troubles I've seen. This, to me, is Dave Gaughan's song. If we look at when he died of a drug overdose and came back to life, thank the Lord for small mercies, a big mercy in this case. This is, however, the soundtrack to Dave Gaughan's life, and indeed the way he is now. And check out the video I did on the Soul Savers recently. If you look at a lot of rock stars, a lot of them die pretty young. Now, Dave Gaughan has had his share of drama, excesses and so, and we are still blessed to have him. And that was only because he made the decision to become clean. And that is why this song is... This is Dave Gaughan's song. It is the soundtrack to his life, as far as I'm concerned. When I hear the song title Clean, or hear the song, I not only think about Dave Gaughan, but it also brings up visual memories of Martin Gore in the music video. And of course, that music video, the Strange 2 series, as produced and shot and filmed by Anton Corbijn, was brilliant, and Anton managed to capture brilliantly the essence of the songs visually. I do like the music video for Clean. It's hilarious. It comes back to Martin, you kinky bastard, as we always say. Now, I don't know exactly how they roll with the music videos. I don't know how much... I believe that Anton is given basically carte blanche to do what he wants to. Anton has said before that he doesn't really listen to the lyrics. He goes more with the music and the feel of it. And just as they did Enjoy the Silence on Strange 2, as you know that story, it was Anton saying, "Come to the studio, guys. We're going to take photos. Okay, everybody look moody. Okay, Dave, just come forward. Okay, we're done. What, we're done? Yeah, you're done. Okay, Dave, come here. Yes, Dave, come here. Dave, we're now going to fly to the Alps, and we're going to take you up a mountain in the snow, and we're going to film you. It's going to be very cold, and you're going to hate me, but it's going to be a very good video." Of course, that was the story of Enjoy the Silence, the band coming into the studio, a couple of hours photo shoot. Bugger off, guys. Right, Dave, come with me. We're going to fly up the mountains now and film a video, which is going to be very cold and uncomfortable, and it's going to take a long time, but you're going to thank me afterwards. That was indeed the case. Now, I'm just thinking of when we come to the video of Clean, the story was probably like, "Okay, guys, for this video, I do not use Fletch, Dave, Alan, you can go out. Martin, come here." Okay. Okay, Martin, come here. So you see, we've got a swimming pool here. It looks like a porno scene. Yes, and you see this beautiful girl. Come here, darling. She's very beautiful. Okay, Martin, come here. So what you're going to do is she's going to get out of the pool. She's going to walk inside you and she's going to sit on the sofa and you're going to be watching. It's going to look like a blue movie, like a porno. And you're going to kiss the girl, okay? What? You're going to just kiss the girl. Oh, kiss the girl. Martin, please take it seriously now, please. You've got to kiss the girl. And that is what I always loved about the Strange 2 series, and especially this video, that it is so unashamedly low budget. You know, it's like a blue movie. It is literally just Martin sit on the sofa and kiss the girl, and they get more into it. And I don't know if you guys agree with me. If you watch the video, Martin does look a little bit shy. I get the feeling that he wasn't, that they should have probably given him a few drinks. He looked really sober and he looked a little bit awkward. But later on, he seemed to get into it. And I love the way at the end of the video, she takes his hand and moves him to the bedroom. Martin, you kinky bastard! Right, let's look at the song structure of Clean. This is a very slow moving song tempo-wise. Also, the chords move very, very slowly from chord to chord. Also, what's interesting about Clean is if you listen to the way it fades out or the song in itself, this concludes Violator perfectly. And then, of course, when we get Songs of Faith and Devotion, we start off with Higher Love. And Higher Love is a similar type song to Clean so far as tempo, the way the chords move, slow-moving chords, etc. But of course, I'll get to that when we get to the Songs of Faith and Devotion album review series. But let's look at Clean just in piano block chord form. Of course, before we get to Clean, we're not skipping the interlude between Blue Dress and Clean, which is a beautiful, strange piece of music, almost religious and hymn-like. Looking at this melody, we can see how it's related to many of his melodies. One that pops to the top of my mind now is Pimpf. So obviously it's a different type of melody, but just listen to the feel and the sort of like the intervals between the notes on Pimpf. And now listen to the intervals between the notes on the interlude between Blue Dress and Clean. And then back to Pimpf. And even if we jump to Shake the Disease. You can hear how those melodies are written by the same soul. It's just there is something within those melodies that are just similar, or similar to each other, although they're different melodies. I hope that makes sense. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the melody now on a string sound, which is this sound. Now, of course, this is not the right sound, but it is closer to the sound that they actually do on the record. And just for illustrational purposes, is as follows. And then you've got the Martin Gore's voice layered in the way that only Martin Gore himself can do. So coming on to Clean. Clean is a slow-moving song, not many chords. It's very simple at its root form, but it's very complex so far as the programming is concerned. Very minimalistic in parts. However, when you take each part and you break it down, there's a lot happening in each part. So nothing simplistic about this. Check out the interview I did with mix engineer Kevin Paul, who remixed Depeche Mode, Violator, and all the other albums in surround sound 5.1, and you will see what his impressions were when he looked at the multi-track sessions. But let's look at those chords here. Starting on the B minor, it's clean, the cleanest I've been, sung in Dave Gaughan's deep, dark baritone. And to the tears, and he toys with the delivery. It's an end to the tears and the in between years, and it's not one level. He's caressing you with his voice. Dave, you kinky bastard. Anyway, clean on the B minor, the cleanest I've been. An end to the tears and the in-between years and the troubles. See how it just lingers on the B minor. But then, of course, then we get the variation. The troubles I've seen, now that I'm clean, you know what I mean. I've broken my fall, put an end to it all. I've changed my routine. Now I'm clean. Back to the B minor. And then we get this, I suppose that's the chorus it starts off with. Then we have the verse here. I don't understand what destiny's planned. I'm starting to grasp what is in my own hands. Gee. As I say, it's a very low Dave Gaughan voice. But at this part here, we get this melodic part, which is as follows. Then it comes to sometimes onto the C here. Now we're back at clean again on the B minor. Clean, the cleanest I've been. An end to the tears and the in-between years and the troubles I've seen. Now that I'm clean, you know what I mean? I've broken my fall, put an end to it all. I've changed my routine. Now I'm clean. And then we go back to the, suppose is the second verse again. As years go by, all the feelings inside twist and they turn as they ride with the tide. Nice and deep tide. And then, I don't advise and I don't criticize. I just know what I like with my own eyes. And then back to the C. Sometimes. And that's basically the structure. You also have this little haunting melodic part, which is now, shout out to my brother, well, brother from another mother, Simon Forsyth, who used to be in a tribute band and who did great work with Depeche Mode tributes, and he spoke about his fascination with that part of trying to recreate that part. Now, Simon said an interesting thing about this part, and the melody on that is do 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 do, but it's not played like that. It kind of bends, and the fascination with that part is if you listen to it in isolation, it doesn't have the attack of a keyboard played part, and it doesn't quite have the bend of a guitar played part. So it's very, Simon and I are both very perplexed and fascinated as to how they achieved that. But yeah, and once again, it's a small part. I'm sure a lot of people will just hear it as a passing little signature part, but once again, to us the geeks, we are fascinated by the complexity in things that are so seemingly simple in these arrangements. So So let me just show you what I mean by the sternness of the chords. Just listen to the chords without me doing any sort of vocals. See how that part, clean, that's the chorus, very sort of serious, and we get relief as soon as it comes onto this part. I don't understand what destiny, we get kind of like a relief there. Starting to grasp what is in my own hands. I don't claim to know where my holiness goes, I just know that I like what is starting to show. And then sometimes when it comes to the C, it gets quite stern, and then as the song plays out, the cleanest I've been, it goes from this B to the C. And it's a very simple progression, but in the context of this song and the fact that that progression moves so slowly, it just gives it an unsettling feel. The cleanest I've been. And I will illustrate that further at the end of this video when I do my piano improvisation. Right, let's jump into some of the original keyboard parts. Looking at some of the original keyboard parts on the Emax here. Now remember, these are the original keyboard parts from the original banks that the band used when they performed live. So I was looking for Alan's parts and I thought, oh my God, I can't find Alan's parts. But then of course I realized if you watched the World Violation tour, when they perform this song live, Alan does not play the keyboards. He's bashing on some big, like kettle drums, boom, 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 which is great for a visual element, which means because Alan's got his hands full with drumsticks, he's not playing the keyboards, it is up to Fletch and Martin to man the keyboards. Now, I couldn't find any of Fletcher's parts either, but I do have Martin's parts here, and I'm fascinated to tell you that when I run through Martin's parts here, you will see that most of the parts are on Martin's sound bank. So, which leaves me with a question, Fletch, what were you doing? There's no clapping in this song. Sorry. I love you, Fletch. It's just a joke. Just a joke. Starting with Martin's sound bank. Let's see what you've got, Mr. Gore. I'm sure you recognize that. Okay, let's put them into context. So in the beginning of the song, clean, when the song starts, we've got this. So it's simply just that. Martin just holds down this, and then he hits the high B note here. And then remember, you've got that sequence bass line. And of course, that would have been on the backing track on the reel-to-reel, or on the backing track machine. Martin. Clean, the cleanest I've been. Now when we get to the first verse, which is the I don't understand what destiny's planned, I'm starting to grasp what is in my own hands. Remember I showed you it's got that little melodic riff, and that is played by Martin, and it's played as follows. I don't claim to know where my holiness goes, I just know that I like what is starting to show. Then it goes to sometimes, and you'll hit these ones. Sometimes, along with this one. Sometimes. And that is made up by hitting two keys. The first key is this. And on the second one we've got this. So it's sometimes. And then back to clean, the cleanest I've been. And then we've got that little melodic part, which is... And Martin plays that like this. Listen to him if you can get hold of some of the footage of the World Violation tour. Remember this part in the record, it's got like a doo-doo-doo. It bends. But of course, when it's played live, it's very difficult to... to get the bend exactly right is tricky. So therefore, it would be played a lot more staccato. Like, listen to Martin, he does it like this. Simple but effective. When we get to the next verse, it's the as years go by, all the feelings inside twist and they turn as they ride with the tide. We get these samples used here. As years go by, all the feelings inside twist as they turn as they ride with the tide. You'll recognize this. And you've got this. I don't advise and I don't criticize, I just know what I like with my... And then, sometimes. So as you see, there's simple parts, but it's just remembering where the part is put and obviously hit it at the right time. As years go by, all the feelings inside twist and they turn as they ride with the tide. I don't advise and I don't criticize, I just know what I like with my own life. Okay, so that part is... Sometimes. And then clean. And that's it really. Simple little parts. When we get to the end of the song, it's this. Of course, when I hear those string samples, all I can see is this girl taking Martin's hand, leading him to the bedroom, and then all you see is the screen with a rose on it, and Martin, you kinky bastard. So as follows. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Fanboy alert. Absolutely love it. Check out the video on Patreon where you'll get more detail. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's jump into the piano improvisation of Clean. And that concludes the Depeche Mode Violator album review series. What a blast this has been. I've really enjoyed this series. I hope you have as well. It's now time for the 5 questions and the verdict. Question 1. Which do I think is the most radical track on this album? Well, it's got to be Personal Jesus. Remember radical being the most sort of like radical, like a song that just like stands out. It doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite song, but just a song that really stands out as a radical track. And I do think that Personal Jesus is a radical track because, you know, not only in its production, you know, it was the bizarre combination of like, you know, like this blues guitar riff with this, you know, the stomping beat and electronics. It is just a very radical song. So that is my choice for the most radical song. Question 2. If I had to lose a track from this album, which would it be? Another way to rephrase it would be, which is the track that you've skipped the most on this album over the years? And for me, it's been Personal Jesus. Shock horror. Interestingly enough, I've always talked about how the flow, the track listing on this album is perfect. But I did say that if you wanted to lose Personal Jesus, I think that the song Dangerous, the B-side Dangerous, would fit nicely between Sweetest Perfection and Halo. I don't know how you feel about that, but this is not to say that I don't like the song. It's just, it is the song I've skipped the most. And indeed, if I had to lose a song from this album, I would lose Personal Jesus. Question 3, which song have I listened to the most over the years? That's very difficult, but I would probably say it's probably Enjoy the Silence. And, you know, that is probably the most blatantly overplayed song on this album, but it is probably the song that I've listened to the most over the years on this album. Question 4, which song do I sort of tend to listen to the most these days? Well, it's probably a toss-up between Halo and World in My Eyes, but I'll probably say it's World in My Eyes is the song that I tend to listen to the most these days. And finally, question 5, what am I going to rate this out of 10? With its flawless production, timeless songwriting, a trip and a journey of track listing, and there are many, many other complimentary things I could throw at this, Violator gets a perfect 10. And that was probably no surprise. I'm sure you saw that coming. And now it's up to you, my friends. Please leave your comments in the description below and participate. Question 1, which do you think is the most radical track on this album? Question 2, if you had to lose a song from this album, or another way to phrase it is, which is the song that you tend to skip the most on this album? Which is that song? Question 3, which song have you listened to the most over the years? Question 4, which song do you find these days you tend to listen to the most on this album? And question 5, what would you rate Violator out of 10? And with that, my friends, we conclude the Depeche Mode Violator album review series. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you have too. We're now going to take a little bit of a break before we come on to Songs of Faith and Devotion. As always, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. And thank you once again for all your support. Lots of love, and I'll see you on the next video. Adios.